Thanks for joining again today. I'm Cleofe, your host at the Cleofe Podcast YouTube channel, and I'd like to present you with a deep dive that emphasizes a fundamental principle in Islamic teachings, the necessity of prioritizing obedience to Allah over fear of people. This text comes from a YouTube video transcript by Numan Ali Khan, focusing on Surah Al-Ahzab from the Quran. It highlights that Allah, as the creator and sustainer, holds ultimate authority, and thus, fear of human judgment should not overshadow one's commitment to divine commandments. Prophets are depicted as messengers who deliver Allah's guidance without succumbing to societal pressures, illustrating the virtue of courage and integrity in standing firm in one's beliefs, even when faced with resistance. This message encourages believers to reflect on their own fears and allegiances, urging them to align their actions with their faith rather than societal expectations. Within the context of Surah Al-Ahzab, the lessons about community dynamics and upholding moral standards further reinforce the call to act with conviction, guided by one's relationship with Allah. Please like and subscribe as we move on. Let's see what Jack and Wilson has to say.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into something profound and honestly pretty challenging. The topic is when feelings clash with revelation, the prophet's test. We're drawing from some really insightful discussion on Surah Al-Ahzab, that key chapter about community, divine rules, and, well, the struggles prophets and believers face. Our mission here is to unpack what it truly means to deliver God's message without fear. Not just for prophets back then, but crucially what it means for you right now.
It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you stand absolutely solid on a divine message when, frankly, your human feelings, your comfort zone, maybe just wanting an easier path, when all that's whispering something different? This deep dive, it's going to shine a light on Allah's standard. It's uncompromising for his messengers. And yeah, that blueprint definitely extends to us.
Okay, let's get into it. The source material we're looking at starts with this really powerful line. It just sets the stage perfectly. It says, "For my prophets, there's no room for the fear of people, especially when it comes to legislation." Wow. That immediately tells you the bar is incredibly high.
Oh, it's an absolute game changer, a total shift in perspective. The shocking truth here is, when you're talking about divine law, what Allah says is okay, the halal, or what he forbids, the haram, the messenger.
Yeah.
And by extension, you have to stand by it with your chest out. That's the phrase used. It means zero consideration for what people might feel about it or think or how they might react. None. And this isn't some new thing either. Our source points out this is the way Allah has always done things with those who came a long time ago. It's like a timeless principle.
So it's not just what they communicate, but the absolute internal purity of how they stand by it. The source also brings up a key term, haraj, from an earlier verse, an ayah. How does understanding haraj help us here?
Right, haraj. It's got these three layers of meaning, and they all fit perfectly. First, it means discomfort, like an internal unease. Second, difficulty, obstacles put in your way from the outside. And third, it means sin. So the expectation is that the prophets and really the message itself should be completely free from all three. No inner hesitation, no being swayed by external pressure, and certainly no sin involved in how the message is delivered. It's about total freedom for the divine will to flow purely.
That explanation of haraj really does drive home the level of purity needed. Okay. And that leads us right into Ayah 39. Our source says this verse basically gives us three key pieces or components of this prophetic method. Let's break down that first one.
Okay, component one, they deliver Allah's revelations thoroughly. The Arabic word is balagh. Now, balagh isn't just, talking so someone hears you. It's about the message truly landing, hitting deep inside, like it says, reaches deep inside their hearts. It's about getting past those psychological defenses we all have, making a real impact, shifting perspective, not just conveying info. And what's really interesting is it's not only words. The prophet's actions are also delivering revelation. Think about his marriage that sent a message. Or publicly stating Zaid wasn't his biological son, another powerful message. Actions can absolutely convey revelation, sometimes even more loudly than words.
Right, so the message is lived, not just spoken. That's a strong first pillar. So building on that, what's the second component? What's the next challenge Ayah 39 lays out?
The second part is they fear Allah and don't fear anyone except Allah. And notice as the ayah actually repeats this idea, it emphasizes it. It says, they fear him and don't fear anyone except he. Doubled up. Why? Well, the source suggests it's because even if a messenger had, say, 99.999% fear of Allah, that tiny, tiny fraction of percent, that 0.01% fear of people, or even just considering people's reactions, that was unacceptable. It means even the slightest thought about human opinion, if conflicts with a revelation, is out. It has to be pure, undiluted fear and reverence for Allah. Only Allah.
Wow, that's an incredibly demanding standard for our intentions, purity of motive at that level. It makes you wonder how we could even aim for that today. But okay, before we get there, what's the third and final piece of this verse? Ayah 39.
The third component is Allah is enough to take full account. Now, this links right into accountability, total accountability before Allah. Remember earlier verses talked about hisab, like calculation of actions in Qadar, divine measure, destiny. That was more about the laws themselves. But this part of Ayah 39, it's about how the message got delivered. Did fear of people creep in? Did intimidation influence what was said or maybe what wasn't said? Allah calculates everything, not just the outward action, but, as the source puts it, what their hearts felt as they did it. It really stresses the importance of khashya, that deep, soul-level awe and fear being directed only towards Allah in the heart, no room for anything else.
Okay, so we have these three powerful ideas. The responsibility to deliver, the specific way of delivering it without fear of people, and the ultimate accountability to Allah. How do they actually work together? Like, how does this framework empower the person delivering the message?
Yeah, it flows really logically. Think of it like this. First, there's the job itself, the responsibility to deliver Allah's message. That's the starting point. Then there's the how. You do it by cleaning house, basically, purging any fear of people, any influence from them, having only the fear of Allah. That's the method, the non-negotiable. And then the why. Why do it this way? Because Allah is enough to take account. He's the ultimate reality you answer to. He sees the action. He sees the heart behind it. So you deliver purely because you know He's the ultimate judge, the only one whose opinion, whose reckoning truly matters.
And this is where it gets really relevant for us listening right now, because the source points out something huge. That job, delivering the message. It didn't end with the prophets. It got passed on to the ummah, to the community, to us. So what does this prophetic standard look like when we try to apply it today with all the pressures we face?
The parallels are quite striking and maybe a little uncomfortable. Anyone who tries to speak about Islam or the Quran today, they feel it, right? That internal battle, you think, okay, if I talk about this specific verse or this ruling, some people are going to be really upset, maybe angry. And that leads straight to the temptation to take the safe road. Maybe avoid the tricky subjects. Worry about getting canceled, as people say now. Or maybe give a speech that sounds good, a good lecture, but you've strategically left out the difficult bits just to avoid causing trouble. It's like, spiritual self-censorship.
And it's not just internal conflict, is it? The external pressures seem, louder than ever sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. You might worry, what will the big donor think? Or how will the board react? Or the sisters in the community might get angry. Or the youth, or the parents, or the elders. You might even find yourself thinking about, say, a visiting official, a governor, or someone important. Will what I say offend them? These things can subtly shape what comes out. But the principle, the core standard from the Quran, it hasn't budged an inch. Those who deliver the messages of Allah fear Allah and don't fear anyone except Allah. That's still the measure.
This whole deep dive, it really does highlight the immense courage needed, not just outer courage to speak, but that inner courage, to have a heart that's truly purified, free from fearing anything or anyone except Allah Himself. That's a call for real integrity.
It is indeed. And maybe that leaves us, and leaves you listening, with a challenging thought to chew on. If the real test of delivering truth isn't just in our words or even our actions, but in the absolute purity of our hearts, in that total absence of fearing what people think, what hidden fears, what unspoken considerations about others' reactions might you be holding on to, what might need letting go of, if you truly want to deliver any message, big or small, with complete integrity.
Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. I hope you've gained some valuable insights. If you're a truth seeker, yearning for divine light and ready to step out of darkness, now is your moment. The truth is that Allah is the one and only creator of the universe. He has sent over 124,000 messengers and prophets to guide humanity, starting with Adam and culminating with the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them all. If you resonate with this message, you might be ready to embrace Islam. Simply recite the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith. For further support, feel free to join our WhatsApp group. You can send us a private message there. The link is in the video description. Don't wait until it's too late. We look forward to connecting with you soon.